Hello everybody. Because we make discipline about control a lot of the times, and discipline is genuinely not that. How can you shout at me and then next thing you expect me to just be open with you about any and everything? We let her get bored. We want her to be bored. Hello everybody, welcome back to my channel. Thank you so much for clicking to watch this video. Today's video is a different video. I feel like I haven't done like a sit down video in a while. I hope that you guys enjoy this video, and please don't forget to subscribe, like and comment. Let's get this video started. Actually, let me start here and what inspired the video. I think it was the year was 2020, 2 years ago. Can't believe that was 2 years ago. And I was pregnant and I was still doing research about raising a baby, and I came across a video done by Milena Sisodi. Found a video and she was talking about basically tantrums and how she basically disciplines her children, because we make discipline about control a lot of the times, and discipline is genuinely not that. It is to teach. From there I understood that actually discipline is not a bad thing. When I say my child is disciplined, you have this thing of my child listens. Kids are small human beings and there's a lot of things that goes on with them developmentally. You have to teach them, you have to discipline them, and that's where how I've understood it. That really changed my entire thought process of how a child should be raised. First and foremost, I am a black child. If it's not obvious, I am a black child, and I grew up in, I don't want to say a bad environment, but at the time I thought it was an okay environment. And anytime during my adult years I look back on my childhood, I felt like it was an okay childhood. Obviously there were some things that I wished would have happened differently. I felt like I wasn't, abused or anything like that. And also in my head I thought, I'm going to discipline my children, and by disciplining I mean because that's what happened to me growing up, and it was normal. When I actually got pregnant, I was like, and I saw this video, I was like, hold up, this is not the stuff that I know. And I want to put it bluntly, this whole white people way of raising kids, and you're just like, those kids will misbehave, those kids don't listen, and it's always about naughty corner. You don't naughty corner, just and that's how I grew up. But when I was exposed to this whole new world of how thinking about a child, and it actually made me realize that I'm actually sad about the way that I was brought up, because it almost made me feel like, not even almost, it made me feel like a minority. And it's not just from me, but the experiences that I've had with those around me, and when they relay their spaces that they grew up in, like in their homes, it was never an inviting way, or never in a way that made them feel like they had a choice in certain things, and it was just my parents' way or the highway, and if I didn't listen, this is what would happen. So I'm coming from that perspective, so it's stuff that I've seen in general growing up, or even in my adult years, and I've just told myself that I actually don't think I want this situation, but I didn't understand the gravity of what I was feeling until I got pregnant. And for me, that changed everything. I'm going to be sharing ways in which I'm trying my best to approach Fadzi, because at the same time you don't want to ruin them emotionally, but you also want them to still learn boundaries, and you also want to have a healthy parent-child relationship. Like, I didn't see that growing up. It was literally the parent is the authoritative figure, and that's it. You don't have a say in like nothing. I just want to move away from that, because I always also feel like to a certain extent it causes traumas. And a lot of the times when we think about trauma growing up, is you think about things that are like physically done to a person and not necessarily emotionally. Even if it's emotionally, you think it's something that's like deep. It can be the smallest thing, which is what I've learned recently, and why I'm so particular about what I'm trying to do. This video by no means has anything to do with I'm a better parent or I know this, and it's just more about sharing what I have experienced and sharing the stuff that I'm doing with Fuzzy, that I'm trying, or that we're trying to do differently. Every day is a learning curve. Every day there's just something new. I feel like we've seen a lot of positivity from the stuff that we're implementing, and it's not always easy, but it's like good vibes, and I'm so happy with it. And I really hope that you guys will find this video informative. I know that this intro was very lengthy, but I just needed to describe where I'm coming from, and I didn't want to just go into the video and make it look like I know and you don't, you know, and I don't want it to come off like that at all. I just want us to share and have a chat as parents, because these are things that we were not exposed to, and we're still learning and we're still growing. So yeah. The first one, which I've mentioned before but not like in detail, is forcing kids to eat. We do not force Fuzzy to eat. For me, I think this came from a trauma that I had when I was younger, and I remember this vividly, and I was telling Josh about it last night, and I was like, I remember growing up, I don't remember how old I was, and it wasn't like an immediate family member even. It was, I don't know who we had gone to visit, and it wasn't even a person I was used to. They gave us oats, and I did not want oats for the life of me, because just the texture was just horrible, and they were feeding me the oats and I just didn't want it, and I would like puke it, and it was just like not the greatest sight, and that stuck with me forever. And I was just like, I do not want to force my child to eat. And as I started researching about food anyways, they were just saying it doesn't help you to force feed your child. It just they just end up developing a negative relationship with food. It ends up messing up their regulation of I'm full or I'm hungry. When Fuzzy does not want to eat food, I just leave her. Sometimes it's just a matter of giving her time, because you'll feed her something, and then like the other day I was giving her a sweet potato and she would just spit it out. She just didn't want it. The next day she saw her dad eating sweet potato, and she just took the sweet potato and started eating, and she ate a lot of it. And most of the time it's not even about the child doesn't want the certain food, they just don't want to eat that certain thing at that time. It's like you know when you get full, and now imagine you're full and someone just keeps shoving food down your throat, or even it's something that you don't like and then someone just keeps giving it to you. I mean, just imagine what that's like. And it's the same thing with them. I remember even noticing that when I started giving Fuzzy stuff, because I did like baby-led weaning at the beginning, I gave her stuff and I realized that she wouldn't eat eggs. She would eat everything else, but eggs she would not eat, only to find later that she was actually allergic. Even in one of the books that I was reading, they were talking about a lot of the times kids who deny certain things for a long time end up finding that they're somehow allergic to those foods. And I was like, this makes so much sense, because anytime something had egg or anytime something had milk, she would just avoid it. And this was when she was like 6 months. So it's almost like her instincts knew, and sometimes you kill that, because it's almost like her body knows that I'm not supposed to eat this. Because I think she ate it once and she never put it in her mouth again. So I was like, oh, okay, she doesn't like them. And obviously you keep trying, you keep trying, you keep trying, and I noticed that she never ate any of it. So for me, we just don't force feed her, because it's never had a positive outcome, and if anything, you're killing their way of regulating if they're full or not, because that's how you end up having adults who can't stop eating, who are obese, or who have issues with binge eating, because that muscle of no, I'm full, I'm enough has been killed, you know. And I know people that we try not to do with her is to shout at her, even if I'm not shouting, but I try by all means for my tone to not sound aggressive. And my tone can sound firm, but not like not aggressive. I never want her to hear my tone and still feel like I'm shouting at her without shouting at her. And growing up, you hear a lot of the times kids getting, you know, shouted at. It does something to a child, you know. It hurts your self-esteem. Like, imagine you, I don't know about you guys, but I had a really crappy boss who used to shout at me every chance she got, which was like every 2 minutes. You being shouted at as an adult, it is not nice at all. It builds a barrier for the relationship with your child to thrive. How can you shout at me and then next thing you expect me to just be open with you about any and everything, you know, especially when I'm getting older? It's not going to work. And I've also noticed this as well with adults who grew up shouting at me. As I've grown older, I've just been like, this relationship can't thrive because of this shouting thing. And the shouting thing usually never ends. Even when you're an adult, it usually never ends, because this person just keeps seeing you as someone who doesn't know anything and you're a kid, you know. Even if you see that your child has done something wrong, talk to your child. And you can talk to a person properly, getting your point across with a firm tone. It's about them breaking a boundary or breaking a rule that you've set. You communicate whatever it is that you're feeling in an amicable way, so that the relationship can thrive and you guys can grow from it. I remember the one time I was so tired when I came home from work and Fati wanted us to read a book. And I was just like, Fati, mom is so tired. Is it possible if we can read this book after we take a bath or a bit later? And literally she just was like, okay. Okay, she didn't say okay, but you could see her tone was like a bit disappointed. But then she put her book down and then she just went about to get another toy and play. And my heart was just like, oh my goodness. They just want you to communicate properly with them. They learn from your tone and everything that, okay, this is what mom means or this is what dad means. So talk to your child as much as possible. It's a daily struggle. Some days I fail at it, some days I'm good at it. And the next one is not saying no all the time. Is it not saying no? Yeah, we try not to say no all the time. Like, we do say the word, but like when she's doing something that we don't approve of, we just look at her or we try to distract her. The best thing that we do is to try to distract her. So say for instance she's climbing on the table, so then we're like, Fadi, come, let's go play with the ball rather. Or if she's climbing or whatever, then we're like, okay, let's go take a walk outside, because we can see that you want to, you know, move your legs and there's not enough space in the house, so let's go do that outside rather. Instead of saying, I don't want you to do that, rather communicate to them what it is that you want to do, or give them an alternative to what it is that you don't want them to do. So I really love this, because a lot of the time it works, because kids get distracted so easily. It just helps them, and you don't just take them to the next activity. Tell them, good, okay, I can see, Guti, you're busy climbing there and that's not safe, so let's come down and maybe go climb over there, or let's go play over there. Communicate to them what it is that you'd like them to do. This one is very tricky. It's very difficult for me to do, like because you're practicing, I end up catching myself and then I end up rephrasing. So it's a muscle that I'm still exercising. Or always let them know what you want them to do instead of saying, no, we don't do that. Rather tell them what it is that they can do. Okay, so the next one is that we, as much as we do a lot of activities with her and stuff, especially on the weekend, we let her get bored. We will literally, Josh, like the two of us, just sit down on the floor or lay down on the floor in the living room, not watch TV, just sit there. She will just like walk around on her own, take her toy, play around. I feel like helping her understand that there are times where we just need to be alone and center. So she'll just like walk into her room and like play with her toys, or she'll just walk around looking at stuff. Or, you know, kids are just random. We let her get bored. We want her to be bored, because a lot of the times that helps with stimulating her imagination, and not to always like be bombarded with activities. She needs to know that there are points during the day where I have time to just walk around and be lazy and do nothing. And you'll literally sometimes find her sleeping next to us, just rolling around, even when she just walks around. You know, when someone walks around like, I don't know what to do with myself, we want her to have those moments, so that also even when she's playing or she's doing a certain activity, she's more engaged. Sometimes overstimulation is a problem, which also is why we probably don't buy her a lot of toys. And this also helps when you like go places with your child, because they're used to not being stimulated all the time. When we say for instance go to the mall with her, she will sit still in a pram. People will be like, how old is she? She's so well behaved. I'll put that in inverted commas, because that's just what people say, even though I don't consider that well behaved. I think she's just sitting still because she just like there's nothing for me to do. And I think that's why sometimes when people meet her, people are like, she's so quiet, because she's used to that. We need to have downtime. It's not always go, 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 which I feel like sometimes the activities and the toys and the TV makes them think that all the time it's go, 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 that when it's time to sort of like be bored, they don't know how to be bored. If you're always giving your child certain things, they just don't know how to sit still and be by themselves. Just have pockets of the day where your child is not doing anything, where you guys are just sitting, literally doing nothing, like zero. Nothing we do with her is that we ask for her permission when it comes to certain things. It's obviously not for everything, because there are some things that are non-negotiables where we will inform her that this is happening, but she doesn't really have a choice in the matter. Like when we have to brush her teeth, when we have to put her in a car seat, sometimes she's happy. Those are things that she just knows happen. Even when we put her down in her cot, even with like the non-negotiables, we let her know it's happening. Things like, Fati, can I get a kiss? And she shakes her head and she goes, she doesn't know how to say no yet. She knows how to say yes and yeah, but she doesn't know how to say no. But her no, she expresses it by shaking her head. Then I know that, okay, she doesn't want anything. Fuzzy, can I get a hug? Then she'll shake her head. I'll post a video. I remember I posted it on Instagram the other day, and people were just like laughing, which it was funny.
Kiss, mommy. Kiss, kiss.
Yes, yes.
Kiss, kiss, mommy. Do it. No.
Wow.
Okay, say bye, mommy.
At least say bye.
Say bye, bye, mama.
Fuzzy.
You took off the camera. No.
But I just left it. I was like, okay, that's fine. That also teaches her to have control over her body when it comes to obviously certain things. For her to realize that I have a choice, I have a say in the matter, and that my parents respect my space or my boundaries, and that even if anyone else who comes close to me, I have the right to say no if I don't feel comfortable. Whether you're my mom, whether you're my dad, I have a right to say no. It doesn't matter who you are, and I want you to respect that. And I feel like it's good to also teach them this in the event where obviously your child is not always with you, and people try things like it can get really creepy in the world. It can get very sensitive. So teaching them from a young age that this is my body and that this is my space. If I say no, I mean no. So that they don't, that line does not get blurred as they grow older, so that they also know that this person touched me in like this and I don't like it, and that they'll be able to be vocal about it. So it starts from that young age, and that's why we respect her in that sense. Even with changing her diaper, Fati, come, can we go change your diaper? Then she knows that even if she doesn't like that certain activity, she knows that certain activities I don't like, but these ones don't necessarily have anything to do with my boundaries, like brushing teeth. She ended up getting used to it. She used to cry and scream, and we'd literally have to force her because she had like a lot of teeth, and I can't just let the teeth rot. I have to brush them. And she got used to the fact that we brush her teeth every day. Anything that with regard to your child's body, communicate it to them. This, I would say, almost goes hand in hand with what I just said about asking for permission, and this is with regards to not grabbing stuff out of their hands. If someone came to you and just started grabbing stuff out of your hands while you were busy, you would be furious. Obviously, if it's something that's like dangerous that could cause immediate harm to her, we do not even ask. We just quickly take it, and then we say, okay, let's rather go play with this. And then we try to divert her to another activity. Or if we're seeing her doing something dangerous, obviously then that's when we'll like pick her up and be like, okay, let's try not to do that. I can see you want to do 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Let's rather go play over there. That'll also help us do what you want to do, you know. So, which goes back to the stuff that I was saying before, that instead of saying no, always try to give alternatives. Like sometimes, say for instance, I am busy packing away the dishwasher, and then she'll come and she'll find me there, and she'll see a knife, and then she like grabs the knife. Luckily the knives are like upside down, so if she grabs it, she grabs like the handle, and then I will like take it from her quickly, and I'll be like, okay, let me put this away. How about you help me close the dishwasher? And then she'll gladly like help me close the dishwasher. So that's also what I mean by the two sort of go hand in hand. We try not to grab anything out of her hand, because that also teaches her a grabbing habit. that it's okay to grab stuff out of people's hands that don't belong to you or stuff that you didn't ask for. Even when she's like playing with my phone, I do not grab it out of her hand. I'll be like, Fadzi, can I please have my phone? Or Fadzi, can you please bring me the phone? And if she doesn't want to do it, then I say, Fadzi, do you want me to take the phone or do you want to bring it to me? And a lot of the times she just comes and she brings it to me. Or whatever it is, if it's something there's no immediate harm, I do not grab it. We don't grab it out of her hand. We ask her for it. It can take a while sometimes. If we realize that this person's not giving in, then we're like, okay, would you like to go play with this instead? Then that's when we now distract her. I feel like grabbing is a bad habit, so it also avoids that. And I've also noticed with her that if another child grabs something out of her hands that she's busy with, she'll want to grab it back. It's just like, you didn't ask for it. My parents always ask me for stuff. Why are you pulling this thing away from me? And sometimes she'll just be like, whatever. Even when even with our phones, because she knows that she's not really supposed to play with our phones. Say for instance, we're like around other people and she sees other people's phones, she won't take them because she knows that she didn't ask for it. But she'll sort of like look at the phone and she'll be like, also, I don't know this phone. This phone doesn't look like it's my dad's phone or my mom's phone. And she'll just look at it and then she'll just walk away and go do something else. So I also feel like it teaches them to regulate and to like, oh, okay, we don't take people's stuff. The next one is that we tell her in advance when we're going to do stuff, which is what I've mentioned before, especially like if we are gonna go to the mall or like we're gonna go outside, or like if it's time to change an activity, like if she needs to go bath, we tell her beforehand. Anytime she needs to like sort of switch from an activity that she's doing, we just communicate to her stuff that we're going to be doing, because I also feel like it helps with her mindset and it minimizes tantrums, which is also something that I forgot to mention with regards to not grabbing stuff out of her hands. We love communicating with her and we found that it helps her feel like she's involved in the family and that these people care enough about me to let me know of the stuff that's going on. And children are clever, guys. They comprehend a lot more. Just because they can't speak, it doesn't mean they don't understand. Communicate that every single, even if you feel like it's insignificant, communicate it to your child. Hey darling, I'm gonna go change a diaper. Can I change a diaper? Yeah. And you'll end up like, now because she says yeah and yes, she responds, you know. Like this morning I asked her, Fuzzy, should we go brush your teeth? And she was like, yeah. And then I repeated it, Fuzzy, should we go brush your teeth? She's like, yes. So it just makes them feel involved in the process. The next one is acknowledging her feelings when she's not happy about something. Acknowledging your child's feelings or emotions doesn't mean that your child can do whatever they want. It's just like how in a relationship with your spouse or whatever, your friend, whoever, I see, or you say when you're in an argument rather, I see where you're coming from and I hear what it is that you're saying, but this is how I feel about the situation and this is my boundary. Can we please respect it? And it's the same thing with your child. You acknowledge the emotion and then you let them know of the boundary and how the boundary is important, and that can we rather not do this? Let's rather do that. Let's focus on this. That's important. So it's the same thing. I really like this so much because it doesn't make her feel like the emotions that she's feeling is wrong. And that's how, if you're always going to be like, Kalelani, you know, the child's going to end up thinking, okay, I'm not supposed to cry around mom because mom gets angry every time I cry. But your child has learned how to oppress their emotions or suppress their emotions around you, or not expressing stuff that they feel or stuff that they want to do, because one is that two, you're not acknowledging their feelings in anything at all, and then it makes them feel bad that they feel the way that they do about certain things. Even you as an adult, you want your feelings to be acknowledged, even if the other person has a different view from what you're saying. And that's basically what it is. And you're learning that skill early, so that the older your child gets, the more the communication line is still open. And just because they're expressing to you how they feel, again, it doesn't mean that you're condoning bad behavior. The last thing that I want to mention and emphasize, that I've mentioned before, routine. It is so important to have your child on a routine. And it doesn't have to be strict, but I feel like your child needs to at least know when they're taking their nap during the day, when they're going to eat. Their meal times should be around the same time every day, and when they're going to sleep at night and when they're going to bath at night, because those are the times where there's a lot of power struggles. And if there's a routine in place, chances of your child throwing a tantrum because of it are extremely minimal. Children thrive off of routines, things, and I feel like for you as a parent as well, it's so relieving. It just gives you peace of mind. It just helps your child not be cranky all the time. And I know this is not popular amongst Black families, especially when your child is this young. I think at the beginning it's good to be strict with it, and by strict I mean in the sense of being consistent. You need to be consistent as a parent, because if you're not consistent, that's also how your child knows you're flaking, and your child can, I don't want to say manipulate, but I don't know what other word to use. Your child ends up manipulating you into letting them do stuff that they're not supposed to do, because they know that mom's not consistent or dad's not consistent. If there's anything actually that you are not even going to take from this video, you should definitely take putting your child on a routine. They're happier kids emotionally. They can regulate themselves much better. Yes, you'll have tantrums, but not too many, not ones that you feel like are overwhelming too much. It just helps. So yeah, that is it with today's video. It was a mouthful. This video is gonna be so long, but I will leave you guys in the description box below the books that have helped me, books, podcasts, and Instagram accounts to follow that I really like. Even if you're not reading as much books, it really helps you, like in breaking down the stuff that like sort of topics or things or concepts that you can start applying into your child's life to help parenting be joy, a bliss, and not this dreadful thing that you hate. Please comment down below what parenting tips that you've learned over the years that you've seen that have helped you. Let's help each other, share our experiences, and if there are any of these tips that you have used, let us know in the comment section below as well. Thank you so much for watching this video. I really hope that you enjoyed it. Please also let me know what other types of videos you'd like for me to share in the comment section below. Thank you so much for watching. I love you all so much. Thank you for staying this far in the video, because this video is gonna be so long. My goodness. Bye.